Welcome to another episode of Unlocking the Mind Behind Make More, Work Less. Hi, my name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed by either increasing their credibility, their exposure, or adding to their multiple streams of income. Now, today on Unlocking the Mind, we talk about another cognitive bias. And the reason why we do this is so that way we better understand how we make decisions, how we can build relationships better, how we negotiate better, and sometimes even prevent ourselves or avoid falling into cognitive traps. So today's topic for our cognitive bias is the false consensus effect. Now, what exactly is the false consensus effect, otherwise known as the consensus bias? Well, basically, in simple terms, it's we assume that everybody else thinks like us. And the more detailed definition is where an individual overestimates the number of people who agree with them, whether it's their values, their beliefs, their opinions, their stand on certain opinions and certain situations. It's just that we overestimate how many people actually agree with us. Now, for example, let me ask you a question. Have you ever gotten into a situation where you're all talking about deciding where to go for dinner or which restaurant to try and what type of food you should get? And you sat there and go, you know what? We have to go to this one restaurant. This pizza place is the best pizza place I've ever had. And it's going to be so good and everybody's going to like it. And then all of a sudden, this one person's like, I don't like that place. And then all of a sudden you go, what? How can you not like that place? That you have bad taste. You have no idea how to eat pizza. You have no good taste in pizza. You don't know anything about it. In fact, I'm never going to trust what you say about food ever again. Have you experienced that ever? Maybe not to that extent, but just kind of in some shape or form of that experience. I'm sure you have. Personally, I have. I debate some of my friends about what's the best place for a Japanese restaurant is. And that's because I believe that everybody had the same taste as me. I believed and assumed that everybody else would think the same way I thought. And that is exactly what false consensus effect is where we just assume people think the same way. And the thing is, the reason why we do this is because mentally we want to boost up our own self-esteem. It makes us more comfortable, more confident, just thinking that everybody else thinks the same way as us, and therefore we feel like we're part of that group, where we're safe in that environment and we're comfortable with the people around us. Now, having this bias in our minds can be very, very dangerous as well. For instance, if you just get introduced into a new group or you're going out to network with people, you have no idea who they are and you've never met them before. And right off the bat, you start spouting out your views about the environment or your views about politics or religion and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden you start have your opinions may or may not affect people or maybe insult people or what your thoughts are may actually hurt certain people that you don't know. So that's very dangerous because you assume that they think the exact same way. So we have to start to kind of back off a little and just go through that period of time to get to know people and to listen to what they're saying and maybe test out a few other topics just to see if they're on the same wavelength as you, because it could be very, very dangerous. And when everybody is not on the same page and they don't have that bond and that connection that's built in there for periods of time, you may in fact lose those relationships or lose those friendships that you thought you had because you felt safe to express all those different mindsets and all those different situations and opinions because you thought everybody else thought the same way as you. So this is also very common in that honeymoon stage where new couples get together. And during that honeymoon stage, that couple actually believe that or assume that they both agreed on each other's things and they both had the same thoughts. But after a while, when they get to know each other and they start experiencing different situations and different environments, all of a sudden they find that they're not as compatible anymore. And that's when that honeymoon phase kind of disappears and they're no longer thinking that they both think the same way or they both don't think about the fact that they have different opinions and values anymore. So that's why they eventually break up. But for those who actually have been able to maintain that relationship, that's when they actually grow and actually have those same kind of thought processes and same values and the same opinions. So another example of this would be if you're in real estate and you're finding a very difficult time finding that rental property that's going to cash flow, and that rental property that you know you're going to be able to rent out. And a lot of my clients and students who's in real estate suffer this same kind of mentality. They sit there and going, well, I'm not going to rent this place. I can't see anybody else rent this place. And they kind of pass up on that opportunity. But in fact, if you look at the numbers, it's a great cash flow opportunity. The fact that you may or may not be willing to rent a place like that or live in a place like that should not affect your judgment as to whether or not you should buy that property as a cash flowing investment. So the thing is, you are not the person renting it. You don't know who's actually interested. And therefore, you have to kind of understand what the market is. You have to understand what your clientele is. You have to understand who is actually looking for rental properties and who's actually looking to rent that type of property. And you have to be open-minded. And not everybody thinks the same way as you. Hence, you have to be able to make your decisions based on the wide masses instead of just assuming that everybody thinks the same way. So the thing is, in order to kind of overcome the false consensus effect, we must first kind of listen to people more, do surveys, understand what other people think, and kind of network with more people and kind of connect with more people so that you're able to kind of get more information, understand how people think, understand how people would have a certain lifestyle, so that it's not just your own opinions, it's not just your assumptions. So that's the false consensus effect or the consensus bias. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please go back and look at some of the other episodes on unlocking the mind. And if you like this show, we have the Peak Potential Success Show and also the Mastermind Bites and the Make More Mind Bites. And those are always on every single week, new episodes every single week. So please like, share, subscribe, comment. I love seeing your comments. And until next time, today is the day to unlock your potential. We'll see you later.